when it comes to Drake, one thing about his fans on social media is they're never going to see things like this. They're never going to get exposed to things like this. They're lucky. If I'm going to be real, they're lucky because they're not going to come over here. They're not going to come over to YouTube to talk big. That's the reality with it. But for someone from Toronto that's here in these YouTube spaces, there's only one thing I got to say at a time like this. Yo, right here in the small box. You got to stop embarrassing us, bro. Dog, you embarrassing us. What do you mean Tupac did it? That's crazy. You out here embarrassing us, making us look stupid. Bro, I know I got sense. I know I love hip-hop. What the hell is this man doing? This is insane. Like, comment, share, subscribe, notify. We tapped in with your favorite Canadian reaction channel. We got the villain in front of us. We're going to be talking about Drake's final shot at Not Like Us case faces major issues.
It looks like Drake's appeal has finally updated, and Drake has filed his final brief in the Not Like Us appeal, and where he challenges the dismissal. And this is what people have been stressing about this case and why this case is bad for hip-hop. It's not only because he decided to sue after a rap battle, but because of the fact that he is challenging the First Amendment. He is challenging human rights when he does so. In this final brief, it's a straight up reminder why this lawsuit was bad in the first place. When you hear and see Drake argue in this case, trying to get this appeal overturned, it is as clear as day that this lawsuit is no good for hip hop at all, for rap, for the battle, for rap battle, anything. This is the problem right here. And why it's always strange to hear people say that they need Drake to save hip hop when in fact he is the one sabotaging it, ruining it. And we're going to see why when we look at him challenge this appeal. The defamation claim should have been allowed to proceed. The district court dismissed Drake's defamation claim based solely on its determination of the recording, video, and image contained statements of opinion rather than actionable statements of fact. That decision turned on context, but the court committed multiple errors in considering the relevant context, misapplying judicial notice to draw inferences against Drake, replacing the reasonable listener with the rap aficionado, ignoring the broader social context, failing to recognize UMG's republication to different audiences, and effectively creating a special rule that rap diss tracks are a defamation-free zone. UMG doubles down on those errors and rewrites the amended complaint to boot. This court should reverse. Now, it's funny because every time I read some shit like this, I always think to myself, I thought Drake studied rap battles for a living. I thought he knew how rap battles...
I'm thinking the same thing. You out here performing and acting for all of your friends. But when it comes to taking care of your fans, bro, it's like night and day. I fail to understand why you continue to move like this. This is not a good look for you. This is a horrible look for you. You should be blessed to have the fans that you have. But for all the regular folk, for all the people that do see this, mind you, there's still millions of people that do see this. They're looking at you crazy. They're looking at you like you're haunted. Like there's something going on up here. Something wrong. 3 brain cell missing. Looking stupid. I mean, I understand this. This is crazy.
Battles work. You diss a person. You say the most disrespectful shit to a person. That's how rap battles work. And everybody knew that this was a battle. Everybody knew that this was a beef. Rather you're a big hip hop fan or a casual listener, you know that these guys don't like each other. And what they were doing was talking shit about each other. You don't have to be a super fan to know that these guys were going at each other like that. This is a weak argument if I ever saw one. Drake stated a claim that UMG defamed him by publishing and promoting the recording, which was intended to convey the specific, unmistakable, and false factual allegations that Drake is a criminal PDF. The recording calls Drake a certified PDF, includes lyrics that say Drake, I hear you like I'm young, and trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a minor, and warns that Drake has got to be registered and placed on Neighborhood Watch. A reasonable listener could, and countless did, construe the recording as factual, asserting that Drake, S.A.'s, youngins. Entertainment industry insiders and media experts on Hollywood affairs likewise understood the recording's core PDF message and debated its consequences. And the image in the video reinforces those factual assertions by using actual SO notification symbols and ST imagery. The broader social context also supports this view. That the public could and did take the core assertions of PDF seriously cannot come as a surprise to UMG. Unlike impromptu statements made at a public hearing or in the live rap battle, UMG's publication of the recording, as well as the image and video, was the product of some deliberation, and thus more likely to signal assertions of fact. Indeed, Drake alleged that UMG had ultimate control to review and approve the recordings to eliminate defamation or libel. That process reflects that UMG knew the recording would be subjected to close, careful, and repeated listening over time, which is especially true given that various fora in which it was republished, including to a global audience at the Super Bowl. You see, this is the problem. Drake is claiming that UMG had control and that they were able to review and approve, not like us, before putting it out. And what he's basically saying here, or what his lawyers are saying, is that UMG should have reviewed the record and not put it out.
Then it's not a battle no more. Plain and simple. You want to control the situation to maintain your mystique. That's all you're trying to do. Because UMG is your home that you were born in. Now, because they're working for the other guy allegedly, even though it's through Interscope, because he's not signed under UMG. Oh my God, this is crazy. You're going to look at your own father, Lucian Grange, your own pops. You're going to look at him and see him as someone that betrayed you because he allowed this song to come out. You don't understand what a battle is, but you study rap battles for a living, and you've been in 2 rap battles already. This is Kendrick's first rap battle. This is what Kendrick can do in his first rap battle? Bro, I'm scared for the next man that wants to diss him. Young Thug already caught shots on Squabble Up. He don't want no smoke. Put down the weed. Put down the cigarette. You don't want that kind of smoke. That smog is different. This man is a master manipulator trying to manipulate the situation in front of our eyes right now. Everybody that's watching this, everybody that understands this, everyone that's been following this, we all know that this is BS. This is BS. This has to end. It's a waste of time. And the funny part about it, the funny part about it is when it comes down to rollout, regardless if it's a win or lose, bro, it's going to boost him. That's what a lot of people don't realize. If he wins this, it's going to boost him. If he loses this, it's going to boost him. If he wins, he's going to look like the man he was supposed to be. If he loses, he's going to be looked at as the underdog everyone is putting him to be. So when he has them little ice cubes melting in the city right now, everybody waiting for the release date, bro, by the time this is over, probably them ice cubes going to be melted, right? This is all rollout. The fact that you're using an appeal, the fact that you're using a lawsuit to assist with your rollout on an album like this, knowing that a lot of your fans don't know how to read, I find that funny. You see what I'm saying? Let's keep going.
Which only tells me that he wanted UMG to work in his favor.
Yep.
He didn't think that they were going to let them rock the way that they did. He didn't think that they were just going to let them put records out, no matter what the context was. In other words, he's saying, how could you let him do this to me? I thought I was your golden boy. Why would you let him destroy me on a record? Why would you even approve of this? But whole time, the way that UMG explains this is that if we're going to publish records for you, we have to publish records for him. It doesn't make sense to block one and not block the other, especially if you guys are going at it with each other. Kendrick isn't the only one that published these records. Drake was the one to put them on streaming services too. So this is another weak argument. The image looks like a screenshot from citizens showing SO gathered at Drake's Toronto mansion. Indeed, people understood the image as supporting the recording's PDF allegations. The image below is a literal map of Drake's Toronto home where vigilantes arrived to search for suspected predators or endangered youngins.
What?
So now Drake is saying that vigilantes went to his house. That is hilarious, bro.
Whoa. Are you talking about the delivery man that came to drop off food and saw a little girl come pick up? I don't know if she was a little girl, but she definitely was short. You see the short girl come out and come pick up the food. Are they talking about that situation? Because I remember when the Ville talked about that. When someone was allegedly at the embassy and they appeared to be looking like this and they come pick up food. And the delivery driver, he must have been up on the situation. He pulls out his phone and tries to record before the gates close. So what are you talking about, vigilantes? And on top of that, when it comes to Drake's house, Academic's been leaked his house years ago and continuously does it. Everybody else on YouTube be looking up where he lives because it's known to everybody. Academics was the first one to look at his place on stream. Through that makes people think, oh, since Academics is doing that and it's cool, I could do it too with no problems. Nobody had issues. But all of a sudden when Kendrick does it, it's a problem. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to underdogs. This is a false narrative that is being built. This is not an underdog. Kendrick Lamar is forever going to be an underdog because of how hip-hop fans treat him today. That's why I'm a fan of Kendrick. I'm a fan of the underdog. I love the idea of underdogs because when they show people what's up and what's really good, it's a good goddamn feeling.
He said Batman went to his house after the Not Like Us record.
That's crazy.
I don't know, man. That is pretty funny. Drake is trying to say that Not Like Us caused people to go to his house and make sure that there wasn't any SOs there. That is hilarious, bro, because we all know. Let's just be honest here. Even if there was vigilantes going to Drake's house because of the cover art of Not Like Us, it's not like they were going to be able to go inside the house or do anything.
Right.
Drake's home is covered with security. So the fact that he's trying to act like people were trying to run up in his home and try to stop crime is pretty hilarious, bro. We know that nobody was going to be able to do that. The gated community that he has, the tall ass gate around his house, all of the security, it's hard to believe that vigilantes were showing up and trying to stop crime there. I don't know, man. It sounds ridiculous to me. The Amended Complaint and Reality tell a different story. Of all songs published during the rap beef, the recording is the only one that broke through the noise and achieved cultural ubiquity. The second most popular song had 4.1% of the recording's views. OB 2829 and the recording was repeatedly republished in context far removed from the rap battle, including the largest Super Bowl audience in history, 133.5 million. That's right. You say it loud and you say it proud. The largest Super Bowl in audience history. Don't you forget that. I love that Drake's lawyer is saying that and admitting that in Drake's defense. I mean, it is pretty cool for them to admit that he had the largest Super Bowl. Yeah, Drake's lawyer is saying that, bro. I don't even think Drake likes hearing that. UMG improperly relies on material outside of the amended complaint to rebut Drake's allegations. The district court erred in considering extra record materials to draw inferences against Drake's well-pleaded allegation. Those materials provided the only evidence supporting the court's articulation of an unduly broad context. The entire rap battle, thus, rather than assess how reasonable listener would understand the recording, the court looked to how rap superfan might have done so. The district court's consideration of material outside the pleadings that was not attached to the complaint, incorporated by reference or integral to the complaint, required it to convert the motion into a summary of judgment. Its failure to do so is reversible error. That rules exist for good reason. The court precluded Drake from rebuting its and UMG's unreasonable inferences. This error is especially stark with respect to tailor-made freestyle, which was not mentioned in the amended complaint, only publicly available for 1 week, and whose contested lyrics are not even in Drake's voice. Oh my God.
The one song y'all are afraid to talk about, this is what y'all do to defend yourselves. The one song y'all afraid to talk about. Because as soon as you start to look at the lyrics within the song, you're like, yo, this case should be closed. With the lyrics in this song, this case should be closed. You can talk about me liking little girls. That's a gift from me. I heard it on the Joe Budden podcast. Bro, and here come Kendrick. Say, Drake, I hear you like them young. Brother, Kendrick heard. He's not confirming anything. He heard. And whoever he called a PDF was your friends. The heck? Certified lover boy, certified what? That's crazy. He was referring to your friends, and this is what you do. That's wild. All of this waste of time. Look at the allegations. Oh, Tupac said it. What are you gonna say next? Tupac made you do it? This is embarrassing to all Torontonians. Period. And to any Torontonians that love Tupac, I feel bad. Me included, because I love Tupac. I feel really bad. This is embarrassing for us. Jesus Christ.
So you mean to tell me that he's going to say that it wasn't my voice that said it? It was Tupac's voice that said it.
God.
That is the weakest argument I've ever heard on this fucking planet, bro. Drake made the song and used the AI Tupac voice. He is responsible for that record. He is going to blame a dead man and say that he's the one that said it, not me. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, bro. You know you made the song. I didn't say it. Tupac said it. What the fuck are you saying, bruh? Despite this, the court found that a reasonable listener would have understood the recording's PDF allegations as a callback to tailor-made freestyle. The reliance on materials outside the pleadings deprived Drake of the opportunity to rebuke the counterfactual assertion. The recording's popularity and reach are unprecedented, as the recording and videos were heard and or viewed over 9 billion times. In contrast, tailor-made freestyle was far less popular. Well, the song wasn't popular because it sucked. But you can't get to Not Like Us without talking.
Hey, see, this is what I'm talking about when they want to rewrite the battle history. You cannot rewrite the battle history without looking at the first two songs. Because the first two songs kicked off the battle. And now you want to get rid of at least one of the songs? You can't look at this battle and ignore Push-Ups and Tailor Made. They can't say a damn thing about Like That. Let's get that clear. That's not Kendrick's song. I've said that numerous times. That's not his song. That's a verse. To any of Drake's fans out there that's saying Kendrick diss Drake on the for any of Drake's fans out there that's saying Like That is a Kendrick diss track, that's how good the song is. Do you not realize that? By saying what you're saying, you're making Kendrick look outstanding because he dissed your best friend so well that it made everybody assume that was his song. Bro, that was a light throwaway. Why do we keep coming back to these things? Why are people so slow? Look at the battle history. Look at each song being dropped in order. Kendrick dropped a verse. Y'all ignited this beef with first-person shooter. Look at your best friend J. Cole. 7-minute drill. Then proceed to apologize on stage. My bad, bro. I ain't mean to diss you like that. Got his wife crying in the background. Stupid. Bro! And then here come the songs. Now you got Push-Ups. They got Tailor Made. 2 weeks. 18 days or something went by. Then we get Euphoria. And a couple days later, after Euphoria on the Tuesday, we get what? We got 616 in LA. And then we proceed to go into the weekend. All right, what happened on the weekend? We got Family Matters. And we got not like us yet. We got Meet the Grams. Then Not Like Us. You cannot ignore the timeline to this. To ignore the timeline is to discredit the whole beef. And this is literally the whole beef that changed and ended the last era and is beginning the new era that we're going into. Crazy.
About the songs that come before it. Drake started this battle and told him to bring these conversations up himself.
Yeah.
Just because the song didn't do well as Not Like Us doesn't mean that you have to exclude it out from the argument. Right. That is ridiculous, bro. They want to single out Not Like Us because they know that Drake fucked up making these songs. UMG also asserts that Drake could not provide an alternative explanation for the lyrics that it claims goaded Lamar to make PDF allegations. Talk about him liking young girls, that's a gift for me. Heard it on the Button podcast, it's got to be true. But it was not Drake's burden at the motion to dismiss stage. To explain what was incorrect about the factual allegations, UMG offered to rebuke pleaded facts. Regardless, UMG is wrong. Given the opportunity at summary judgment, Drake could have provided a ready alternative before tailor-made freestyle. Although UMG and Amakai might be finely attuned to the history and norms of rap diss tracks, nothing in the pleadings or common sense suggests the average listener would be. Amakai raised the imaginative argument that Drake consented to being called a PDF through tailor-made freestyle, but consent to defamation is an affirmative defense that UMG never raised, and it applies only when the consenting party has effective control over dissemination of defamatory material. You see, this is going to be a weak argument, bro, and this is the reason why Drake lost. And the lawyer is trying to cook up excuses for tailor-made freestyle because he knows that Drake shot himself in the foot when he made this song. The fact that he's trying to blame Tupac is fucking insane to me. This is hilarious, bro. It's almost laughable. And as far as the amicus brief, they're not wrong when they said that. Talk about him liking young girls. That's a gift for me. He was telling him to do it. Taylor Made Freestyle was released. The Budden podcast criticized Drake for dating adult women, whom those who deemed to be young for Drake. The Joe Budden podcast, episode 664, was quoted to say, "Get the F away from those young people and stop effing these 25-year-olds. Why are you still effing 25-year-olds? You're a 37-year-old billionaire.
Get away from Lotto's sister." How about that? A lot of people on here, a lot of people in these hip-hop community streets on YouTube, they don't know about that. I frequently watch the Joe Budden podcast. That's one of my favorite podcasts to watch ever. All right? That is my source of entertainment and comedy on top of marketing techniques and marketing critiques. That is my favorite podcast, period. I don't watch a lot of podcasts. That's my go-to for sure for overall quality entertainment. I remember the conversation they had with Drake about Lotto's sister and him being around Lotto's sister. What about that? A lot of people not talking about that right there. Joe Budden and them were talking about get away from Lotto's sister. She's young.
UMG points to no case where the court used extra record material in the way that district court did. And UMG fails to address cases where this court has reversed when a district court considered external material to make a finding of fact that controverted the plaintiff's own factual assertions set out in its complaint. None of UMG or district court's authority supporting assuming contrary to well-pleaded facts that the reasonable listener would have specialized knowledge about the feud in prior songs. Unlike the recording, the rap report video itself described the recent history of the acrimonious dispute of which the statements were a part. UMG's assertion that provided context for the reasonable listener. Similarly, in Steinberg versus Alphonse, the complaint of message was accessible only to individuals who had access to the union's information line, and thus who would know about the ongoing labor strike. Nor is this a case like Coleman versus Grant, where statements of opinion were based on a reaction of supporting facts. As for the unpublished decision of Torrain, UMG tellingly relegates to a footnote its acknowledgement that the plaintiff himself introduced the context in his complaint. UMG's suggestion that Drake did the same lacks merit. The amended complaint does not mention Taylor Made Freestyle. And the court directly contradicted the amended complaint's well-pleaded allegations regarding the popularity and ubiquity of other songs. And again, the judge had said this also, where we can't talk about Not Like Us by itself. We have to talk about all of the diss records.
Yep.
And in the transcript between the judge and Drake's lawyer, she kept telling him that. And he kept trying to argue no. And he's still trying to argue no. But the fact of the matter is, you got to know the whole story. You got to know how we got here. While arguing that extra complaint materials are fair game, UMG asked this court to disregard the pleaded broader social context and surrounding circumstances. The recording surfaced after the Me Too movement, in which celebrities, including rappers, faced severe consequences for SM and SA crimes. Response that those individuals were indicted by federal prosecutors misses the point. Given the cultural context, listeners were primed to and did take the recording allegations as factual and view its subjects as another Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, another Sean P. Diddy Combs, or R. Kelly. It is reversible error that the district court drew inferences against Drake based on disputed interpretations of little-known extra pleading songs lyrics while simultaneously ignoring well-pleaded allegations like the broader social context regarding PDF allegations against male celebrities. It's funny that he's bringing up P. Diddy because there's a video of Drake going around saying that he wanted to be like Diddy. So the fact that Drake's lawyer is using Diddy as an example, it's kind of crazy, knowing that there's footage like that going around. UMG suggests because Drake pleaded the recording was always popular, subsequent broadcasts cannot be republications reaching new audiences. But Drake pleaded multiple republications that necessarily reached new audiences, including that UMG 1 released the video after the rap battle was over, and Drake had informed UMG of the shooting at his home, and republished the recording at 2 political and sporting events, 3 the Grammys, 4 the Super Bowl, to a global audience almost a year after the original rap battle. UMG's argument also flops mathematically. The recording's immediate popularity, 96 million streams a week, pales in comparison to the 3.65 billion total global views of the Super Bowl performance, a republication far outside the original rap battle, including to football fans who had never before heard the song or any of the songs that preceded it.
That's your fault. That could have been you if you won. Plain and simple. Drake, that could have been you if you won the battle. What we're witnessing right now is like literally, this is what happens when you don't try. This is what happens when you literally poke the bear This is what happens when you embarrass yourself. This is what happens when you embarrass us. This is what you get. You can't be acting like this all your life and think you're going to get away with it. Consequences.
So they're just going to act like everybody, people at the Super Bowl, people at these events, these political events, these media events. They're going to try to act like nobody knows what's going on. They're going to try to act like everybody is stupid, that nobody knows what a rap battle is, that nobody knows what is going on in context. Drake and his lawyer are trying to call the public stupid. That's what it feels like.
Yo, Kendrick Lamar is too smart for his own good, bro. It's actually kind of scary. It's actually kind of scary, because watch this now. Remember what he said before he played Not Like Us, or prior to him playing Not Like Us. I want to perform their favorite song, but I know they love to sue. Did it. Bro, he's literally covered himself. Every step he took those steps knowing that he's going to cover himself. This is crazy. Bro, what they're saying right here is that, how do you do that? No, how do you do that? How do you dead it? That's wild. Holy crap. That's crazy to me. How do you dead that? Think about it. For anybody that doesn't understand, for what they're talking about right here when it comes to the Super Bowl, and how, a lot of people in the crowd don't know what's going on. They don't know this song. They never heard this song. That's cap. That's a lie. He confirmed it that they know the song during that moment. I want to perform their favorite song, but I know they love to sue. I want to perform their favorite song. What song? Did it. That one. Bro, that's crazy. Nah, Kendrick Lamar is dangerously smart, man. How do you predict this? How do you predict that? That's crazy.
To me, UMG baselessly asserts that Lamar expressly contextualized the rap beef for the audience by saying, I want to play their favorite song, but you know they love to sue. Yet again, UMG ignores the pleaded facts in favor of its narrative.
Bruh.
In fact, the Super Bowl performance excluded the word PDF, although that failed to change recording's core message. It implicitly concedes that viewers would take the lyrics literal. It is also unclear why UMG thinks the threat of defamation liability would make listeners more likely to view the recording assertions of PDF as opinion rather than fact. It's not that he stopped himself from saying it because people were going to think that he was being literal. It's because it was a family event and he censored himself because of the language, not because people were going to take it serious.
And that's another thing. Not only in that moment that Kendrick Lamar censored himself, but he spent the entire Super Bowl censoring himself with expert breath control. So it's not like they spent that one moment trying to block out that word. They spent the entire performance making it family friendly. Bro, I've never seen somebody get checkmated on this level a day in my life. I've witnessed some checkmates. I've given out some checkmates myself, but I've never seen somebody perform a 5D chess move checkmate. This is crazy to me. This is, wow.
Again, another weak argument, bro. Although UMG purports to disclaim the categorical rule of statements in diss tracks cannot be defamatory, in UMG's view, a rap diss track signals, if not shouts, opinion, not fact. But not all listeners, especially a republished version, would recognize it as part of that forum. Regardless, forum is not dispositive. Even informal fora statements need to be assessed on a case-by-case basis. Perhaps statements in rap diss tracks may only be actionable infrequently, but this case is one of those rare exceptions. The recording's lyrics, the realistic image, the accompanying video falsely indicate Drake stating he is a certified PDF. This message reached broad audiences and garnered serious reactions, including threats and attempts on Drake's life. If the recording cannot support a defamation claim, nothing in the forum ever will. Calling Drake the rare exception to a battle is completely ridiculous. Get this lawyer out of here. PU, this guy stinks.
PU is crazy.
Saying that Drake is the rare exception because he got cooked so bad is fucking hilarious, bro. Both UMG and Amica,
No exceptions in the battle. Sorry.
I suggest that rap diss track forum must be treated with kid gloves, and that ruling for Drake, who is a rapper, poses a threat to the future of rap. This fear mongering is baseless. Many facts of defamation law and the First Amendment adequately protect artistic expression. For example, as a public figure, plaintiff Drake must show actual malice, that UMG acted with knowledge of falsity or reckless disregard of the truth, which is not an issue here. That this case involves rap does not give UMG a free pass for defamation. UMG's newfound anything goes in music, no matter what approach, is also inconsistent when its own practices, its standard recording contract, includes a provision which permits UMG to eliminate material which, in UMG's judgment, constitutes defamation or libel. It's funny how they're calling UMG inconsistent when Drake is the one that's being inconsistent here. Because Drake is the one that was protesting about using rap lyrics in court.
Haven't forgot about that. In fact, wasn't that passed? Wasn't that approved the other day? And I talked about it. So, what are we talking about? What are we here for? In fact, wouldn't that apply here? That you can't use rap lyrics in court like that? Bro, we're wasting our time. We should be focusing on other things. We should be focusing on music. We should be focusing on this industry. Focusing on the rap game, talent, skills. Just any event in rap, that's what we should be focusing on. But we're here because of this man. That says a lot right there, if I'm going to be honest. The disappointment that I have within my heart, knowing that I'm from the city where he's from. That's crazy to me. That's insane to me. That's ridiculous to me. Our greatest moves like this. That is not great to me. That is a disappointment to me. This is why this is embarrassing to me. Because instead of focusing on rebuilding yourself, you want to tear down the people around you to make yourself feel better. Why don't you rebuild? Instead of you crying in every stream that you went on, anything that you stood on to speak your mind. Instead of crying on streams and all that, why not take those moments to rebuild and focus on the music? You're a rapper. You're a pop artist. Focus on the music. Why is that so hard for you to do? That should be the easiest thing for you to do, since you say who you are, or you claim to be the person that you is, which is the best. Bro, that's crazy. You are not that guy. You claim to be the best and then proceed to get washed. You thought you had a red button. There is no batteries in that button. Your opponent is a master tactician. I don't care who's calling you a war general. Because as far as I see it, when it comes to battles and wars, you're not winning either. Unless you're manipulating the situation on some hand puppet type shit. This ain't a Pinocchio thing. What you stepped into is a ring with a dog with A1 level rabies. And you're a mouse. Not even Stuart Little you are. You are a mouse. And you're going up against a dog with rabies. And you thought you were going to win this battle. You thought you were going to be that guy in the end of this. You already lost this case. Now you're trying to fight the case with an appeal. As far as I'm looking at this, it doesn't even look like this is going to work for you. Me personally. I'm just saying. Oh my God.
He was recently speaking against it, and now he's saying the opposite. Now he's saying that the rap lyrics need to be used in his case, and that he is the only exception. If anybody is being inconsistent, it's Drake. He has been the one that was trying to say that rap lyrics cannot be used in court, only for him to be in this lawsuit trying to use rap lyrics in court. It is fucking ridiculous, bro. Talk about being a hypocrite. UMG's backup arguments nonetheless fail. First, Drake adequately alleged that UMG acted with intent to harass, annoy, or alarm. Issues of intent and motive are typically factual inquiries that should not be decided in a motion to dismiss, unless the non-movement has failed to allege any evidence that the defendants acted with censor. Intent may, in most instances, must be established by inferences drawn from the surrounding circumstances. Drake pleaded both that UMG had an incentive to devalue his music and that UMG continued to publish and promote material accusing Drake of SAing youngins, even after Drake informed it of the allegations' falsity and violent assault. Those intent allegations suffice at the stage. Second, Drake pleaded that UMG acted with no legitimate purpose. NY Penal Law 240263, there is no legitimate purpose in baselessly hurling PDF accusations, especially after UMG learned of the violent consequences. UMG relies on its financial motive, RB62, but its sole cited case, People versus Smart, does not hold that a partial financial motivation shields otherwise illegitimate conduct from harassment liability. To the contrary, that a defendant also stood to benefit financially or otherwise does not imbue harassing conduct with a legitimate purpose. Third, Drake alleged that UMG engaged in a course of conduct, repeatedly committed qualifying acts. This element imposed a minimal burden. Although one isolated incident is insufficient to establish a course of conduct, a pattern of conduct composed a series of acts of a period of time, however short, evidencing a continuity of purpose can support such a finding. UMG suggests that the harassment claim violates the First Amendment because the recording is pure speech. Drake has pleaded sufficient facts supporting a covert scheme. UMG argues that Drake failed to allege the existence of covert scheme because Drake relies on allegations made on information and belief and predicated on a handful of largely anonymized online posts. Again, UMG misstates both the allegation in the amended complaint and the law. On the allegation, Drake pleaded numerous facts suggesting that UMG used the covert scheme to boost the recording popularity, only some of which were upon information and belief. Allegations include 1, information and belief. UMG used bots to spread the recording on Spotify. 2, botted streams are a serious problem. 3, Budden indicated that Lamar used bots to boost recordings popularity, which we all know Joe Budden had came out later and said that he was lying. 4, a social media user posted a video demonstrating how to use a bot streamer and explained that UMG and Lamar had used that tool to boost the recording popularity. And they're talking about someone who joined Academic stream, and even Academics was saying that he was lying. He was saying that he didn't believe him. The story that he was saying wasn't even believable within itself. Social media users implicated UMG in paid promotion of the recording. 6, on information and belief that UMG provided financial incentives to streaming platforms. 7, third parties documented streaming irregularities that boosted access to the recording. 8, on information and belief, UMG took part in pay for play. And 9, UMG has previously paid millions in a settlement after a pay-for-play investigation, supporting an inference of pay-for-play here. UMG takes issues that Drake's argument that a plaintiff may plead facts on information and belief, where the facts are within the possession of a defendant, or whether the belief is based on factual information that makes the inference of culpability plausible. But UMG's cited case suggests that most the information and belief pleading is insufficient when plaintiff provides no supporting facts whatsoever. None do what UMG ask, weigh the credibility of a plaintiff's allegations, decide that those relying on online sources are too unreliable to count, and then disregard the well-pleaded facts rather than construing them in plaintiff's favor. Court erred because it engaged in the impermissible credibility determination at the motion to dismiss stage. Drake alleged that the acts of practices using deceptive methods to artificially boost the recording's popularity have a broad impact on consumers at large. Music consumers expect the recommendations from music service providers are based on legitimate rationale, not record labels' backroom transactions. UMG contends that the conduct must result in a transaction in which the consumer was harmed. Again, UMG fails to mention Drake's cited authorities holding the opposite. While the typical case under Section 349 generally involves claims arising directly out of commercial transaction between plaintiff, consumer, and defendant seller, neither the text of the statute nor the case law establish this requirement. Finally, UMG urges the court to affirm on another alternative ground. Drake was not injured by the deception. This court should instead remand. Nonetheless, this argument fails. Drake alleges that he was harmed as an artist because UMG falsely inflating the record's popularity and especially redirecting users from Drake's song towards the recording cost him the opportunity for his songs to be streamed and gain royalties. Again, Drake only cares about the money. It doesn't seem like his argument is about him actually being harmed. And the fact that he's out here trying to act unbothered, but in the court of law, his lawyer's trying to argue that he's been harassed, that he is being hurt. It really goes against the way he tries to present himself in the public. And this just shows that Drake only cared about the money. He doesn't care about harassment. He only cared about him missing payments, missing money. UMG passing assertion that any harm is speculative, RB69 fails because Drake pleaded that users were diverted from his songs towards the recording that is precisely the type of harm found to be sufficient at the summary judgment stage in North State auto bond. Surely then it is enough to state a claim. Conclusion, the court should reverse the dismissal of the amended complaint. Again, a whole bunch of reading, and I'm going to tell you right now that Drake's arguments don't make sense at all. He is trying to attack the First Amendment. People are saying that he needs to save hip hop, but he's in the court of law destroying it. He continues to come out here and try to act unbothered.
That's the part people don't know because they're not on YouTube watching these videos. Bro, there's no saving it when you're destroying it in court. You're legally trying to destroy this. You're legally trying to ruin this. You're legally trying to take the fun away. Because this is how you literally make hip-hop boring. If there's no battles at levels like that ever again, whose fault is it but his? Just think about that. Yo, let me lean up for a second. Yo, this is mad. This is like literally sitting back hearing that this is mad. Like you have to be one sick individual to pull off something at this level. And just imagine the dollars that are wasted that you're trying to get back in your pocket. You're wasting your time and money trying to prove something that you can't prove. And it's not that you can't prove it. There's nothing to prove. Because you did this to yourself. Bro, I just wish people saw these things. These are eye-openers to look at your great. Your great is a fraud. Your whole life was boosted. Out here moving like a booster pack. That's crazy to me. Your whole life as an artist was a blessing because you were the golden goose for streaming. You were that poster child for streaming. You're the reason why streaming is great. But notice in the music industry today, streaming is not the main focus no more. Streaming is not even in the play no more. Live performances, physical media, actually reaching out to the fans is the gateway to being successful as an artist today, right now. That's what we're transitioning into. Streaming? Bro, that's nothing right now because you don't even get paid through it. They used you to boost up their pay structure so that they can continue to have money in their pockets. But as soon as their pay structure is compromised, look how everything falls. This is crazy.
These pyrotechnics, doing these explosions, doing a video called Project Bot, but he's out here crying in court, out here trying to plead in court. This is embarrassing. This is the guy that you want to save hip hop. With everything that he's saying, it goes against hip hop in general. And he is an embarrassment to the art form when he does shit like that. All of this reading just to say that they hurt my feelings and I'm sad I didn't win the case. The lawyer out here milking the fuck out of Drake's pockets, knowing that he's not going to win this appeal. Everything that I just read and then some is showing that Drake never cared about getting harmed. He never cared about being harassed. He is saying the way that he was harmed was him not making any money. And then saying that he's the only exception when it comes to using rap lyrics in court is ridiculous. And then he's also saying, I didn't say that in Tailor Made. Tupac said it. That is pathetic, bro. You are blaming an artificial intelligent Tupac in which you made him say the lyrics to. It is crazy to think that you are trying to blame someone that you made say those lyrics. It is crazy to think that you are trying to blame AI for the lyrics you made them say. I know Pac is rolling in his grave. The fact that you are trying to blame a dead man is crazy when you know you're the one that made that song. You're the one that made him say those lyrics. This case is truly disgusting. And all of these arguments that the lawyer is making are completely weak as hell. This appeal, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is just my opinion, is going to get denied. This was his final stance, his final wording, and he failed to make any good point. He's basically repeating everything he said in his initial complaint. Nothing here has changed. They're not even able to provide any factual claims about the botting. They're not able to prove any of that. It's always on speculation and belief. They're never able to bring any factual claims to the table. Again, I think that Drake is not going to win this case, and this argument is weak as hell. The lawyer is just milking Drake's pockets at this point, and I can't believe people think that this guy is going to save hip-hop with his new album when he's in court jeopardizing the art form more than anything. harming the First Amendment, harming artistic expression because he doesn't know how to take a loss. It is pathetic in every aspect of the word. But y'all could tell me how you feel about this and get back to me. Y'all let me know how you feel about this in the comment section. I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, man. Peace. Keep it a legend.
I ain't gonna lie, that's one hell of a video. That was one hell of a video, but look where we at. Look at Jalopy. Look at the company man. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. I've never seen things like this happen a day in my life. Ever. For someone that's from here, for someone to witness one of our greats to move like this, you really, oh my God, I can't believe this. In the final, in the last like response to the appeal, you're really gonna sit there and say, it wasn't me that did it, it was Tupac that did it, bro. You can't make this up. Tupac did it? Really? It wasn't my voice? But you're the one that used the AI voice in the track? And now you guys don't want to even use the song in this lawsuit? Really? Yeah, embarrassing. Embarrassing. Jesus. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Yet you have Tupac's ring. Bro, you might as well keep that because Kendrick said before, give me Tupac's ring back, you might get a little respect. You're not getting no respect, bro. You're not getting no respect. This is eternal hate because of what you trying to do. That's crazy. Jesus, as a Torontonian, I feel so embarrassed. So embarrassed. So embarrassed. Oh my God.